What are the winners and the losers for the new ban list? Well, we're going to answer that question. I'm back. 30% of you guys have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button. Come on, smash it so we can get to 106,000. All right, winners and losers out of the ban list. I've had a good little bit of chunk of time here to kind of breathe in and take this list for what it is. And there are some very sad players out here. All the Praying Kids players are crying. I don't know why people are acting all shocked-faced about Verte Anaconda getting banned, by the way. I think that's one of the more hilarious things out of this list is people are like, oh my god, Verte actually got banned. I can't believe Konami. What? Have you not, like, looked at competitive play? Like, are you just living under some rock here that you just missed that entire, like, debacle? Because that card is massively unhealthy for the game. And I think it's absolutely crazy that people are just like, oh my god, I can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. Verte's gone. Hello? That's wild to me. Now, Change of Heart coming back. This is like the first little thing I want to talk about here. So, interesting thing is, like, you've got the people over here in the camp that are like, this card is going to be an absolute staple. It'll see play in every deck. Need I remind you about Harpy's Feather Duster? You know, Harpy's Feather Duster, Harley, some builds don't even play it, and you know how crazy that card is at this point in time? Now, Change of Heart is being compared by a lot of people to Mind Control. You know, it's a one-of. Yeah, you can take the monster and still apply the effect. That's fine via this, and it can still attack, you know, but to what interactions is the card going to be crazy? I think that's the thing that's most interesting is, will this be a main deck card, or will this be a side deck one-of, or will the card not even see play? And the generalized opinion from, like, the competitive player base is, it'll be a side card, if that, which is very interesting to me. A card as powerful as this, ending up, you know, the competitive community, I do agree with, it is an unsearchable one-of. You know, what does it really bring to the table? Yeah, you gotta, yeah, players will lose to it being hard sacked to them. Yeah, that's gonna happen. That's literally the inevitable at this point in time. But, to be honest with you, that being said, unfortunately, it's just that. So, I think Change Your Heart coming back is a it's a very interesting thing. I think it is a win and a loss for the community because it's nice to have it back, but it's just like, huh? Also, I wouldn't be surprised to see it being an OTS ulti at this point in time. It'd be really interesting to see how far out they design those OTS packs. All right, I think it'll either be a super or an ulti in the upcoming OTS pack, and I think a lot of players are going to be like, oh my god, like, I just spent $100 on a Secret Rare. Yeah, and then you're going to be even more shock-faced over here when you're like, oh no. Yeah, I could see that. Next up here is, I don't know what Flundereeze players are thinking here, but they have been on some copium. Holy moly. They're like, oh my god, we can play Yata-Garasu in our deck. And then you kindly notify them that it is in fact a Fiend monster, and they're like, I'm still gonna play it. And you're just like, huh? What are you doing? Like, why are you trying to play Yata-Garasu? Well, you see, you imbecile. We can bridge the gap with it with Small World. And you're just like, what? Like, what kind of contraption are you trying to play here that you're trying to have Yata-Garasu in your Flunder deck? All right, like, that doesn't feel massively right. Like, this honestly should have been a good takes and a bad takes video, because I think it's absolutely hilarious to see that these Flunder players are like, Yata-Garasu, I can main this card and it'll work because it's a win, because Wing Beast clearly doesn't matter in the archetype. It's so bad, man. Like, honestly, I'm intrigued by this. Now, obviously, if you were somebody that picked up the adventure package, or if you were somebody out here that, you know, picked up the branded stuff and you're like, I want to play the deck. I know a lot of people sold parts of their branded package and now they're going to have to go pick them up. I think that's actually hilarious. A lot of people were just like, yeah, I do agree that I do think the package should have been semi-limited on this list. I think that should have been one of the bigger priorities here. But once again, Konami's looking at this going, no, we haven't had reprint equity on this. It's too soon to hit this. So you basically created a vacuum at this point where, you know, the adventure package is going to be crazy. They did do good on this list, by taking care of Based. Based in its incarnation is some of the craziest stuff that ever existed, all right? Like, that's crazy to me that Yu-Gi-Oh! Players were just like, O-faced, surprised that Konami actually did something about that. But once again, I don't know why people are shocked about Verte and why people are like shocked that Konami did the hits that they did. We knew that Praying Kids was an issue. We knew that if they weren't going to go after the adventure package, they were going to go after Praying Kids. I didn't think they were going to devastate Praying Kids in the way that they did, though. I thought they'd probably put Cockadoodle Doodle 1, but now you literally took Praying Kids and made them this unplayable pile of cards. So if you're a Praying Kids player, yeah, you big old loss this format. Konami's centralized point of this list here was the fact that they said, you know what, branded an adventure for the next couple of months, all right? And, you know, it's almost like the rest of the year here. This is where, like, the grand loss for this list is going to come in. Your realization for Yu-Gi-Oh! For, you know, rest of May, June, July, August, September, November, all right? All going to be near tier 0-ish interactions, because you have Despia, and you're going to have Splight following it up. Well, I still don't think Despia or Splight's going to be, you know, true tier 0, but it's going to be one of the better decks up there. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, lots of winners, lots of losers for this list. I do think the Dimension Force coming into the metagame here will make some interesting splashes. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but a lot of people are talking about the plant stuff here, and they're like, oh, this is just even better. You know, like, the plant stuff didn't lose anything on this list. If anything, they get to take advantage of the entire, you know, Brave package now, and can play the Sun Avalon shenanigans with that engine, because we've already seen that deck top before. Was it on, like, some crazy spectacle before? No, but I do think, as we kind of, once again, follow forward here, we'll see where that is. Still feel bad for Praying Kids players. Outside of this, the list was good, right? Like, the list did two things. The list changed up the metagame. It brought cards that players have been wanting to experiment around with for a very long time. You know, Change of Heart. Though, I do remember at the very beginning of the day, a lot of people were like, oh my god, you know, Change of Heart and Snatch Steal are both, like, the same card fundamentally. Snatch Steal has some superiorities, really, to it that kind of can make it better. Honestly, the fact that if your opponent doesn't have a spell and trap out, that's where, like, your real advantage is. Because, like, if you simplify that game state down where you don't have to hand it back after a turn or simply link out with it, then that's where your real, like, issues come in with it. Like, the massive power creep, like, between those two, yeah, Snatch Steal was just insane. But that's really neither here nor there. Honestly, I'm glad to see that we get to mess around with this. Though it is also interesting here, on, like, the other sub-note here, that at the end of the day, Yata-Garasu was the longest ban card in the game, and now it's back. Honestly, card should probably go to 3 at this point. Also, one fair loser for this list is, where the hell's Harp Horror? Harp could have came back on this list and been fine. Pendulum's got some nice stuff off this list, which was also fine. Also, the other big question mark on this list was, why the hell Shooting Rise of Dragon at 1? Like, I feel like there was some, like, level of interaction there that we just all missed. Maybe? I'm unsure, because, like, there's still, like, the question mark there at the end of the day. I'm just like, what did we miss that really was there? Also, you know, DPE shenanigans, yeah, Fusion Destiny's still at 2. It'll still see some play, but it's not, like, crazy at this point. And really, outside of that, congratulations. I gotta clap for Sword Soul, or not Sword Soul players, for Salaman Grade players. You're getting there. You're just missing some Gazelle. I am glad to see that, you know, with Mirage, Stalio, and Circle coming back, that the deck really is getting its oomph back. You just need a little bit more Gazelle to get there. Also, we can bring Light Stage back to 3 at this point, and nobody really is going to care. Alright, like, the only reason why that whole engine mattered was because of the auto Verte Anaconda that you could make, and now there's not, like, much of a point. You've checked some of the last real big issues that these engines had with them, so just loosen up on the grip just a little bit here, and give the chance for these engines to return. But hey, you know what? Good news to Tri-Brigade. You got a second tanky back, alright? That's a good one for you. You lost Verte Anaconda, which means you kind of lost your game plan, But that's neither here nor there. So what do you think about the winners and the losers for this ban list? Please leave a comment about Twitch. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.